Well, all right. Welcome back to As It Should Be. Paul Bertolino here in the world famous As It Should Be Studios. And today I am doing a recent record roundup. Yes, all alliteration, all the time. Yeah, I haven't done one in a while. I guess ideally, if you do a vinyl community channel, then like maybe once a month you should probably do, these are the recent records I bought. But I don't buy records that often, as I say in every one of these damn recent record roundup videos. In fact, evidence of that being there's been a while since I've made one, right? Well, it's taken me a while to accumulate enough new stuff to feel like I had, material for a video. Well, now I do, and, yeah, a few things here, and, let's just get right into it. Let's get started. Coming up first of all, is a record that I think I talked about in a past video. I think it may have been... Oh, it was... well, that'll give away the band. Why don't I give away the album? Rush! Yeah, with Grace Under Pressure from 1984. Now, I recently spoke about this album when Crystal Durant, Tommy Von Voigt, and I did our Rush album ranking. And I talked about how I'd been meaning to get this ever since 1984. It's just been sort of in the periphery, and I've just been sort of not getting it all this time. Well, I finally got it. Well, the thing is that it, maybe a couple years ago or so, roughly, to me, a couple years ago, it was probably 5, because I'm at that age now to where a couple years ago was probably like 6. But anyway, a couple years ago, I decided, I think I do want to get a copy. I really do want to definitely get a copy of Grace Under Pressure. And so when I decided I wanted to do that, I thought, but you know what, though? I'm not messing around. If I'm going to get a Grace Under Pressure, Shrink, Hype Sticker, no fucking around. And I finally found one. I think it was like $15 or something, which for today's prices, that is not bad. So yeah, I couldn't pass it up. Excellent condition, I got the Hype sticker there, and the original J&R price sticker. Yeah, for you New Yorkers there, you remember J&R. Yeah, J&R, man. That J&R was a store that was on Park Row, or Park whatever the hell, from 71 to 2014. And that used to be where that was my go-to place for new stuff. I wanted to get, if a new CD was coming out, or, I guess vinyl too, but mostly CDs, because it was kind of more CD oriented when they were still around. That was where you went to if you wanted to get that day of release, brand new, item. But they closed in 2014, and there isn't really anything that's properly, replaced them, unfortunately. But J&R, I think it was like, what was it, $5.99? Yeah, it was $5.99. I mean, now, had I bought this... like I said, I've been sort of meaning to get this since 1984. I just paid $15. If I had just gotten it in 1984, I could have gotten it for $5.99. I mean, that's what happens when you wait, people. Don't let the world pass you by. And you end up paying way more money for stuff. Yeah, inner sleeve, the whole thing, and sounds great. Just an actually excellent copy of probably the laytest Rush album in their catalog that I really would want to bother getting a copy of. What's after this one? Power Windows? I mean, if I found like a $5 copy of that, I would probably buy it. In other words, I won't be getting that album. So up next, an album that I bought on the same day that I bought Grace Under Pressure. I bought Fly By Night. Yeah. Now, I already had Fly By Night. I have a copy down there. It's just not, my copy has never been that good. I have like an okay copy. Maybe it's like a VG copy. It's okay. A little ring wear it has. The record is a little, sounds a little worn, a little crackly. And so it's just been in the back of my mind, like, if I see a good copy of Fly By Night at a price I'll pay, then I need to pick it up. So I found one in Shrink. Now, unfortunately, instead of a Hype sticker, it has a Music Factory sticker on it. But I feel compelled to leave that there. I mean, it's just, it's a, yeah, I mean, But, it's the old Mercury label, the old Chicago cityscape Mercury label. It's it's not a first press. It's a little bit later, but it's still the first label. So, and it's in shrink, and of course, it's in excellent condition and sounds great. So, couldn't pass it up. Okay. Now this record. Oh man. Okay. This is yet another record that I already had a copy of, but I I couldn't pass it up. The Band, yeah, the self-titled second Band album, and now of course, like I said, I already have a copy. I think I just have one copy. Now, this copy is special. Okay, yes, you can see it's in shrink. There's that. But it isn't just that. Whenever I run across this album, I always feel compelled to look inside because at the label, at the pressing, because the copy that I already have is a black rainbow capital label. And really, commonly, these are green capital label. The green capital label with the little purple logo. Well, one day, and years ago, I ran into a copy and I pulled it out and looked at it, and it was a rainbow capital label. I'm going, I didn't know this was ever on a rainbow capital label. That's crazy. Really? And I snapped it right up, and this was back in the 2000s, so it cost me $4, I think. But on closer inspection, it was a Canadian pressing. And I kind of went, oh, you know what? I know why this is, because in Canada, the label designs changed usually one album later. So, if a Bob Dylan 1970 album, or say 71 album, goes to the new Ring Around Columbia label, the Canadian one still has the 2i Columbia label, just that one album, and then they switch over. And I thought that's probably what happened here. The Canadian one probably has the earlier label, and, in the US we just got the green label. All of that is to say that I ran into this, and I'm like, wow, in shrink, this is really nice. And I pulled the record out. And it's a rainbow capital. I'm going, oh, whoa, is it a Canadian copy? Pull it out, look at it. Look at the back. No, it is not a Canadian copy. This is a US rainbow capital. In absolutely stunning condition. So, what's the mantra of this episode? I couldn't pass it up. Yeah, it's absolutely insane. I really, honestly, I would never thought I would ever run into another rainbow capital copy of the band's Brown album, but... And a US one? Well, also, I guess I should clarify, too. Once I found this and I brought it home, I actually looked it up on Discogs, and turns out there is one US pressing on, well, obviously, I have a physical one here. Clearly it exists, but there's exactly one US pressing on Rainbow Capital label, and that is the Club Edition. Now, I don't know if that is that the Record Club Edition? Is that kind of, I don't really know. I mean, is that sort of like the 1969 equivalent of, the CRC? Maybe, I don't know. All I know is that this one, if this is just like a Record Club version, it still sounds great, and it's still, yeah. Great stuff, man. Great stuff. All right, so now what we have here is an album that I definitely have had for years and years and years. I bought this at a thrift store, God, when I was in high school probably, but I don't have a copy of it here. It's in the world famous as it should be archives, and I had actually been sort of craving having a copy on hand to listen to because I don't think it's online. Tom Jones, It's Not Unusual, because look at this shit in shrink, unplayed. I mean, it's somebody cracked this shit open, filed it away, and it was $2. And I know you're thinking, well, of course it was $2. It's Tom Jones. Yeah, well, you know what? This is a great album. Those first three Tom Jones albums, man. It's Not Unusual, What's New Pussycat, and Atomic Jones. most bitchin'. I love Tom Jones. Yeah, you know, he got... Let's see what... no. Doesn't have the label sleeve, but whatever. Absolutely incredible copy. And for $2, let's all say it together. I couldn't pass it up. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I know Tom Jones got really... he got really cheesy. I mean, you know, some would say he was cheesy from the beginning. No, he was fucking awesome at the beginning, but he got really cheesy. The good songs dried up, and, you know, his records got shittier and shittier because he wasn't getting good songs anymore. And then, you know, you get to the point where he's doing a cover of Burning Down the House by Talking Heads, and it's kind of like, yeah, you know, okay, I got it. But Tom Jones is still great. All right. Now, yet another album I already had a copy of, but I'm not even going to say it. But this one has I have a really good reason for buying this one. You know, this additional copy. The Runaways' first album. Yeah. Now, I do already have a copy of this, as I mentioned, and anybody who saw, I did a track versus track of this album and Queens of Noise, and I hold up both copies, right? Well, my other copy that I've had for years is a later pressing, a non-gatefold pressing. This is the gatefold. I've been actually wanting to get a gatefold, and it was actually that day when I made that video, that track versus track, I pulled that album out, and I'm like, oh shit, I have a non-gatefold? Flipping through the records, I don't have a gatefold of this? And it was like, mental note, gotta get a gatefold of the Runaways album, and I thought, I don't know when I'm gonna see one. Well, I saw one, and in excellent condition, and something I didn't realize. Okay, well, for one thing, it has the, you know, the proper record label sleeve, but it also has the insert, which I didn't know existed. Yeah, I used to know somebody who had this album, who had the gatefold pressing, who had, you know, even thinner sleeve, but I don't recall there being an insert. Maybe there was one and I forgot. Lyrics on the back. Great picture on the side. Yeah, I didn't know there was an insert. So, you want to talk about not being able to pass it up. I mean, I actually ran into a gatefold copy at a price I would pay with an insert that I didn't know existed. Yeah, guess what? I left the store with this. And, excuse me while I try to get back into place here. Yeah, so there you go. My first Runaways album, sorted. Unless I find it in shrink. with a hype sticker. I don't think it was there ever a hype sticker for that album? Probably not. But, alright, it's coming up next. An album, well, another album, kind of like the Tom Jones album. This is an album that I got really, really cheap, that you're gonna find cheap. It's a great album. Gordon Lightfoot, Sundown. Yeah, Gordon Lightfoot with Sundown. I've been on a bit of a Gordon Lightfoot kick lately. Now, Gordon Lightfoot I've always liked, but I've never gone in really deep with him. You know, I always like the singles, you know, Carefree Highway, Sundown, If You Could Read My Mind, Love, What a Tale My Thoughts Could Tell. You know, all that good stuff. And, yeah, and I think I even have, you know, a thrift store copy of this probably in the world famous As It Should Be archives. But yeah, I just ran into this absolutely gorgeous in shrink copy of this just exactly at the moment when I'm deciding, or when I've really been digging into his albums and getting more and more into him. So I couldn't resist. Yeah. I mean, it would be nice if I actually could find one that I don't already have, but you know what? It's something, all you people who, any record collectors, anybody's watching, you guys are all record collectors, you buy records. You ever notice how the minute you decide you're interested in something, it seems to vanish off the earth? I mean, seriously, something like Gordon Lightfoot records. Oh, anytime I go to a record store, there's 100 of them for $1, right? Anyone you could want. Boom. The minute I go in specifically looking for Gordon Lightfoot albums, nothing. I went to 5 stores, no Gordon Lightfoot. I did finally find this one after, like, a few days, but how could there not be Gordon Lightfoot records in the dollar bin at every one of those stores? Well, anyway. So, now this is an album that I talked about on a video past that I used to have and that I didn't realize I no longer had. It seemed to just vanish from my collection. And that was when I did my Thin Lizzy album ranking. Yeah. I finally got a Thin Lizzy Chinatown. Now, I had a Chinatown. I had a U.S. It would have been on Warner Brothers, not Mercury. Yeah, I had a U.S. Warner Brothers Chinatown that when I went in to pull out all my vinyl when I was doing that video ranking of all the albums, it just wasn't there. And I still haven't found it. It just vanished. And so I said, yeah, I guess I'm going to have to go find another Chinatown. Well, here you go, another Chinatown. Now, this actually is not the U.S. pressing, though. This is a Vertigo pressing. And I'm not sure which country it's from. I think it's an I don't know pressing. I don't have my glasses on. It's a Vertigo. It's an import, and it's not in the best condition. But it was really cheap, and this is like a sort of a placeholder Chinatown for me now. And stay tuned. Maybe there'll be a future recent record roundup where I will be holding up a way nicer U.S. copy in shrink hype sticker. I should be so lucky. I should be so lucky. Okay, so last up is kind of a bit of a haul here. This is a group of records of the same band. I was talking about how I've been getting into Gordon Lightfoot lately and kind of going around looking for his albums and coming up with nothing. Well, kind of in the same geographical area, I guess you could say, is another artist that I've been really getting into lately. Very belatedly, my God. The Guess Who! Yeah, the Guess Who. Yeah, you would think Guess Who would be something I would have dug into a long, long time ago. No, I really never have. There were songs I like, singles of theirs that I really liked, singles of theirs I really don't like. Like, I can't stand American Woman. But Burton Cummings has one of the best voices ever. In fact, I realized that I should have had Burton Cummings when we did our favorite vocalists video. I have to look back at it. I don't think I mentioned him, but I was remiss. I should have had him on that list. But yeah, so I've been on a huge Guess Who kick lately. And we'll go through these one by one. And the thing that's great about the Guess Who, or about getting into the Guess Who and deciding you want to buy their records, is they're super cheap. They are super cheap. I have like six Guess Who albums here. I got all of them within the last couple of weeks, and they cost nothing. And we're talking gorgeous copies. Okay, first we have Wheatfield Soul. The second, or the first, I'm sorry, I guess it's not really their first album, but it's their first album. It's their first RCA album, and it's is it their first international album, maybe? This is really just kind of where they kind of really arrived outside of Canada, really. And this is the album that has These Eyes, which was their big breakthrough hit. It's the opening track. But this copy is just absolutely gorgeous. The spine, this is like straight out of The Shrink. The inner sleeve, the orange label there. Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous and a great, great album. That's the thing, Guess Who, I will say, as much as I've been getting into them, they're a little bit of a mixed bag. Some albums are really great, some are not so great. There are many albums that are, have some absolutely stunning songs on them and some really crappy songs on them. This is one of the consistent ones. This is a great, great album. And here we have the next album. Oh, Canned Wheat. Woo! This one. There isn't a bad track on this. This is spoiler alert. I don't know if there'll ever be an album ranking, but this is my favorite one. That may change by the time we do that. I don't know, man. This is a damn good album. And this copy is sparkling. Sparkling. The front is glossy still. It's just, the spine is just, nobody's breathed on the spine, for fuck's sake. Yeah, this is incredible. And it's, one of a copy that doesn't have that little hype sticker that they tape. Well, there were some copies where they actually had a hype sticker that they affixed to the cover itself, but I believe there's a lot of, the most common one, it just has the hype sticker design printed on the cover. Yeah, this is the original one before they did the hype sticker thing. Yeah, just an absolutely beautiful sounding, great copy of a great album. And I'll tell you what, if you haven't gone into the Guess Who, and you wondering about a starting point, this is your starting point. And I should also point out too, actually, now that I'm on this and I'm on this album, that what kind of the earliest seeds of me getting into my Guess Who sort of phase was a video that Tastes Like Music made a while back. I think when they were doing their 1969 deep dive, I think that's what it was. They did their 1969 deep dive video, and Jason, this album was on his list, and he was really talking up the record, and he was going over the tracks and some of his favorites, and he made it really sound interesting. And I thought, let me go poke around. And he name checked his favorite song of a Dropping Pin, and he was really just going on about that song. And I said, okay, let me go over, and I pulled up Spotify, played Of a Dropping Pin, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is really good. And I went back, and of course the opening track is No Time. We've all heard that, but it's a slightly different version on this album. And then the second song, was it Minstrel Boy? Incredible. And then Laughing, then Undone. Absolutely great album. 2 or three great singles on this. Incredible album tracks. All the deep cuts are great. Highly recommend this record. And then, of course, we have the blockbuster next album, American Woman. Yeah, with the song I hate. Yeah, but you know what, man? This album, I don't like the song American Woman, but the album is absolutely great. Gatefold with lyrics. I think it's just a company sleeve, right? Yeah, the label sleeve. But yeah, and this, if I can get it back in there, it's really crisp. I don't know. There's just this glut of, when I've been looking the last couple of weeks, this glut of not just used Guess Who albums, but like Guess Who albums that people took excellent care of. Or maybe they just didn't like them and they didn't listen to them. But man, they're wrong. This is a great, great record. Let me get my glasses on here because I want to look at the titles. Yeah, American Woman sucks. This has the actual version of No Time on it that you've heard on the radio. It's a remake. Talisman, No Sugar Tonight. Yeah, When Friends Fall Out, Proper Strength. Yeah, really, really great album. But you're going to want to skip the first track. But at least it's not the god-awful Lenny Kravitz version of American Woman. But, all right. Next up is the next album. I have like the first five, these 5 albums just like in a row. This was the next album, Share the Land. The first album after Randy Bachman left. And this is also the first one that I have in this lot that's in kind of more used condition. Yeah. I actually found another copy of it at Captured Records in Greenpoint here in Brooklyn. And it looked beautiful. Like, it looked as nice as these. It was like, ooh, wow. And it was so cheap. It was like $5 or something. I'm like, ooh, oh, perfect. And I went over to the listening station to put it on. The record looked just shiny. Put it on, go to play it. It was warped. And not even like this, that in the inner warp, the warp that goes, which of course, no matter what, makes the needle jump. Yeah, and it is one of those things that whoever bought that record for the store, whoever put it in and priced it or whatever, they didn't play it. You can't see that it's warped. I mean, it's easy to get. You could easily miss that because it's not a roller coaster warp, so you're not going to notice it. And it was just like, well, I'm not buying this, even though other than that little warp that made it skip, it looked beautiful. It was a museum piece otherwise. So I got this copy that's a bit more worn, but it's not warped, and the record's great. I think it has the sleeve, yeah? Yeah. More Guess Who than you can shake stick at. Next up, more Guess Who. Yeah, the next album, So Long, Bannatyne. I don't know how to pronounce that. What do I know about geography and places and things? Yeah. Next album. In incredible condition. What was it, $5? It was some stupid price, Gatefold, of course. The inner sleeve. I love this. Hey, you want to watch me put the record back? It's your lucky day. Yeah, So Long Been. Oh, this is the album. Now, this is one of those albums, actually, that's very spotty. This one has incredible stuff and really terrible stuff. Let me look at the record, actually, because, yeah, let me look here. Yeah, we have Rain Dance, the opening track, is really great. But, you know, it has really terrible stuff like fiddling and going real crazy, kind of terrible. But it has Sour Sweet, a track called Sour Sweet, written by Burton Cummings, one of his great piano, like, epics. Seriously, like, go wherever you can. Here on YouTube, wherever you want to go. Listen to Sour Sweet, S-U-I-T-E, Sweet, by the Guess Who. Incredible song. Yeah, it makes up for fiddling and going a little crazy in some of the other weak tracks on this album. And then next up, you probably saw it. I probably just revealed already. Well, whatever. I bought a sealed copy of Road Food. Yeah. Clap for the whoop, man. Terrible song. Absolutely terrible song. And is that the opening track? No. The opening track is Star Baby, which is a great song. Now, that is a great single. And Clap for the Wolfman is not. But I bought this sealed, and I opened it. And so, of course, it has all the stuff. It has the insert. You know. And most impressive of all, to me, a picture of the Guess Who eating at Pink's. Yeah, in L.A. Yeah, the Guess Who at Pink's in L.A. in 1973. How awesome is that? You're not going to go to Pink's. You're not going to find the Guess Who standing outside Pink's now eating hot dogs, right? So yeah, the 70s were better, people. That's all there is to it. All right, so there you go. That's my recent record roundup haul for the last, I don't know, however many months it's been. It's probably been a few months since my last one, and that's what I've managed to accumulate in that time, you know. But yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching, everybody, and thank you for subscribing if you have, and if you haven't, maybe consider subscribing. But if you do, click the little bell. Take two. Click the little bell for notifications, and come back this Thursday because Crystal Durant and Tommy Von Voigt are going to be back here in the world famous As It Should Be Studios, and we are going to be discussing our favorite Motown singles of the 60s. Yeah, we have a two-part. It's just a two-part series going on. This Thursday, we're going to be doing our favorite Motown songs. Actually, I guess it isn't really limited to singles. It's Motown songs of the 60s, and then next week it's going to be our favorite Motown songs of the 70s. So yeah, maybe come back and check that out. That should be fun. All right, see ya. Well, all right. Welcome back to As It Should Be. Paul Bertolino here in the. Do that again. Well, all right. Well, all right. Okay. Well, all right.